Ba bee da boo da boo, ba bee da boo da boo. What is up, everyone? Life Forgot here with you guys, and another yearly installment of EA Sports FIFA 18 is on the way. Has it descended upon us like the plagues descended upon ancient Egypt? Possibly, as the hype is absolutely real around this game. And if we take a look at it, you will see a lot of superstars are featured in the actual new journey by Alex Hunter. You see De Bruyne in there. You see a lot of different, players and managers. So the hype is real around the game. But is it worth it? That's what I'm gonna try to figure out right now in this before you buy a yearly installment of FIFA 2018. They're featuring a lot of new players in there, but unfortunately those are all just for foot or FIFA Ultimate Team. Now the reason I'm making this video is because sometimes you gotta look into the past to look into the future, where you're going, where you're headed. And I had to ask the question, when EA first took over and started making FIFA, what was it that allowed them now to make every single year a new installment of the game? I actually started playing, I think, when it was FIFA 95, and that's saying something. I really enjoyed it. It was the World Cup 94 was here in the United States, and, I was like, hey, I got a new system, and, my parents got me a game, so that was pretty neat. It's just, what direction is EA wanting to take this game? And it looks like they're just constantly going to be taking it in the FIFA Ultimate Team direction. With all the hype around Alex Hunter and the new journey and all these superstars that are lending their voice to these promotional ads and stuff like that, let's just go ahead and take a look at what we're being offered from last year until this year. So another installment of the journey, and we have to see how Alex Hunter in the last journey was being called up to the England national squad. And that's where they left us. They left us in a little bit of a cliffhanger. And I mean, the storyline was okay. It looked like it was, pretty good from the beginning. I mean, who hasn't dreamed, if you love football, who hasn't dreamed about actually making it to a big club and getting your shot and then actually, playing for one of the biggest teams in the world and the team that's been your dream all along. But, in the beginning of FIFA 17, the journey, it, like I said, they put it together really nicely. The story was pretty good with the exit trials, and being picked up by a squad, being relegated, being sent down to the second division, which is the English Football League. The beginning was really nice, really nicely scripted, really nicely done, but it seems like EA just kind of gave up on it. A third of the game, a third of the way through, it was really nicely done. There was not a whole lot of concept or a lot of ideas rolling around. After that, at the end, you kind of like, and it was to be expected. I called it in the first impressions video for FIFA 17 that there's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. Your best friend, your childhood friend, actually turns his back on you, and you become friends with someone that you didn't like in the beginning. No one liked him, but you ended up being friends with him, and that's how it goes. And then your father walks out on you and kind of just makes a quick little cameo, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It just feels like the first third of it was well scripted, was well done, and then it just forgot about it and wanted to force FIFA Ultimate Team down your throat with Alex Hunter having his little shield and wanting for you to come in and explore what Ultimate Team was all about. But I'm going to have a look at a couple of these photos that I'm going to be putting up, and it just displays some of the updates that we had to deal with last year with disconnect glitches and stuff like that. It's never mentioned inside of these little screenshots, but it just says general stability fixes and FIFA Ultimate Team improvements, and it kind of just beat around the bush and not really tell us exactly what happened. So that's what's to be expected. And as far as gameplay does feel like it's just slightly improved. It doesn't feel like a good football game though. And I had to talk about the engine of Frostbite. Frostbite was made for, I think, was made for Battlefield Bad Company 1. That's where Frostbite came in. So it was more of an engine that generated like destruction and stuff like that. So if you're shooting with a tank in the game, which is a shooter game, you can destroy buildings and they come down and stuff like that. So which was really cool. But Frostbite for a sports game, I don't think it actually works. And I'll have to point out to a couple of examples in the game that there's unnecessary player collision. And what I'm talking about is, as you see here, you make a shot, and all of a sudden, like, there's just clumsiness going on. As you can see there, just like, what in the world is that? I mean, when in the real world, when you're trying to really, fluff up your game and you're telling us this is the best experience ever, when in the real world do you see something crazy like this? And then it could be other simple stuff like this little movement that your player makes. He kind of dips his shoulder, tries to get around the opposition. But I found, in FIFA Ultimate Team when I was playing it, that it put you out of position quite a few times, and it was just absolutely frustrating. And you might be saying, well, that's FIFA 17. What about 18? I have a little bit, a little example now in FIFA 18 where I'm playing with Bayern Munich, and I'm playing as Alex Vidal, and just his clumsiness, it's just in the game still. It's still buggy. It's still not what I think would be worthy of a AAA title that gets released every single year. I mean, if you have a couple of friends, you'll probably join up with them and then be able to play the pro clubs or whatever other game mode is out there. But the hype is around like the new icons. I would love to have played with the icons outside of foot. Maybe they are available. I don't know if I want to find out. Such as Thierry Henry, Pele, and a couple other guys that I think, would be pretty cool, like maybe Maradona also. But I don't know. It just seems like it's the same thing over and over again. Like I said, the gameplay has been a little bit improved. The screens, oh, let me tell you about the screens. They are recycled from last year. A lot of the gamers were complaining about the black and yellow screen, so they ended up putting just the black screen and the purple screen. So, predominantly more of a purple than black, but it just seems like it's been recycled. And you see a lot of these gamers like Castro, who, is putting his voice and putting the hype in the game. And I just don't think that it's something that has improved enough that I would say, hey, I want to spend my time, which is pretty valuable, in playing this game, and then, I don't know, turning around and having to put a lot more effort into it. And like I said, the glitches and stuff, it plagued the game. It looked, the players just didn't look like they were running normally. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, and I'm looking at these clips with Cristiano Ronaldo that he was the one that modeled the whole game and, or, was using helping him. I just don't think he has fluid movement. I don't know. Some of his movement is good, but if you look closely at his abdomen, it just seems like the same player. Like the same generic run, the same generic person. It doesn't seem like it's been improved. Like how sometimes games say, "Oh, this player he moves like Messi, this player moves like Ronaldo." It does kind of remind me of it, but it's still pretty like stiff. It doesn't really look like it's fluid. It doesn't look like it's the real deal. So I just kind of wanted to put this video together before you buy the FIFA 18 edition, and just to look back to, in order to look forward and see what we're wanting out of this series. What do we want FIFA and EA to actually improve upon, instead of just force feeding us like FIFA Ultimate Team? And I know it's their cash cow, and they're gonna milk it till they turn blue in the face. I don't know, but let me just show you another thing in the journey. I mean, the journey is being hyped as something absolutely real. They're going to be surrounding it around Los Angeles Galaxy, which the Galaxy, maybe they're a big team in the U.S. I don't know. I don't really care for them. But in the outside of the U.S., outside of the MLS, like I don't think anyone really, really cares about the Galaxy. I mean, you see them at the top. I'm not at the top, but they're at the bottom of the table right now. It's September 25th in the MLS. I mean, they're having a horrendous season, and to be hyped as part of the main storyline plot for the journey, it's just not. I don't know. It's just not really conducive to what I think a football game should go. Now, let's look closely also at the character models. I mean, you look at 17 and you look at the agent, who, I don't know, like his body, actually, the way they rendered it out reminds me a lot of those old Mafia games that were played on like PC back in, I don't know, 99 or maybe 2004, something like that, somewhere in there. They just look really stiff, really rigid. And just another quick little example is how these character models place their hands on top of the table. It just seems like they're floating there. Like it's not really interacting. It's not very well done. Yes, it does invoke emotion, having a girlfriend in the game and then having your family and just wanting to set it up where, oh yeah, the Los Galacticos, Los Merengues, they're calling me, and more drama is in store for us there. So I just think it's going to be another big disappointment. Maybe not. I mean, there's so much hype, like I said, around this game that maybe gamers is just gonna overlook the fact that there needs to be a core, and built from that core. They look at the stands, and another cool little thing I did like, but it's gonna get worn out really, really quickly. Like those celebrations that they just go on forever. It just seems like you have to look at them celebrate for like 30 seconds, and that's just way too long. Another cool little thing was that your supporters actually like bombard the little area where your player runs to. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, but the way it's animated, it just seems really generic. It just seems like they they don't collide with each other. It just doesn't seem like it's right. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," but then I looked at it closely and I was like, "Nah." It could have been done a little bit better. I mean, just the attention to detail is not there. Like I said, they're gonna push their cash cow down our throats, and that's gonna be the end of that, I guess. And another thing I really want to point out is that EA really bragged about the Premier League managers. Well, if you actually play the Journey or any other game, it just doesn't really make sense to brag about them if they really don't, play a part. I was playing the Journey, and I think I took on as Newcastle, and towards the end of the game, something important happened, and Alan Pardew was supposed to say something, who was the manager at the time. Instead, a representative comes in and gives a spew and talks to the team, talks to everyone, and he just kind of looks there. He looks away. He walks away. It just seems like a little puppet. Like it's just, here you go. That's what you get. That's what you should be happy with. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. And if a AAA title wants to bring out a game every single year, I think there's just some of the things that should be critiqued. And also the character models. I mean, their suits look like they don't fit them properly. They're just look bloated and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm Life for God. I just want to make this a quick video on FIFA 18 and what I'm expecting from it, what I'm hoping from it. But I think I'm not gonna expect too much. Anyways, I'm Life for God. I will see you guys in the next video. I'll see you when I see you.